Are you someone who doesn't bend to the will of the conventional wisdom? Someone who rebels, who questions authority, who doesn't just watch the mainstream media, go along with all the bandwagon mentality? If so, www.tommynationpolitics.com. We're free-thinking, innovative, open-minded, new progressive media.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. You heard that right. It's Tommy here, coming at you live from the Tommy Nation Politics Podcast, your one-stop shop for truth bombs in a world full of corporate smoke and mirrors. Grab your turkey leg, pour yourself a glass of that organic fair trade cider, and let's dive deep in this holiday's farce, what we call Thanksgiving. Because while you're passing the mashed potatoes and pretending everything's peachy, the empire's crumbling.
Hey guys, this is Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. How's everyone doing today?
Western civilization as we know it is coming to an end. And I'm here to remind you why we can't just stuff our faces and ignore the rot.
They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists.
First off, let's acknowledge the real history here. This ain't just about pilgrims and pies. It's propaganda. It's built on stolen land, genocide, and the erasure of indigenous peoples who are still out there fighting for sovereignty against pipelines, fracking, and every other extractive nightmare big oil can dream up. Shout out to the water protectors at the Standing Rock, the land defenders in Wet'suwet's territory. Every native activist reminding us that decolonization isn't just a buzzword, it's a demand. So as we sit here in our heated homes, let's be grateful for their resilience, not the myths we were force-fed in school. But hey, it's 2025, and we're supposed to be thankful, right? Grateful for what? For scraping by in a gig economy where Amazon treats workers like disposable drones, for healthcare costs that could bankrupt a small nation, while pharma execs yacht around the Mediterranean. No, I'm grateful for the fighters, the union organizers walking picket lines, the teachers striking for living wages, the climate kids gluing themselves to a bank door because the planet's on fire, and the suits in D.C. are too busy cashing fossil fuel checks to notice. Grateful for the post-duopoly crowd, the ones that are over the Democratic-Republican duopoly farce joke. There's only us calling out the bipartisan war machine that's bombed half the globe in the name of democracy. And yeah, I'm grateful for you, my listeners. The listeners of Tommy Nation Politics Podcast, I just want to say, on Thanksgiving Day, what am I grateful for? I'm grateful for you guys. You guys who listen, who tune in week after week, donating your hard-earned bucks to keep this podcast a free-thinking, innovative, totally open-minded, new progressive media. I appreciate you guys. It keeps the podcast ad-free, me uncompromised. You're the real MVPs. You guys are the resistance. Now, speaking of resistance, let's talk about something that's got the establishment sweating bullets this Thanksgiving week. The Epstein files. Oh man, where do I even start? Just a couple weeks ago, on November 12th, the House Oversight Committee finally coughed up an additional 20,000 pages of documents from Jeffrey Epstein's estate. You know, the pedophile billionaire who ran a sex-trafficking ring for the elite, rubbing shoulders with presidents, princes, Wall Street wolves, military-industrial complex pigs. Yeah, on November 19th, Trump signs the so-called Epstein Files Transparency Act into law, kicking off a 30-day clock for the Justice Department to release even more documents. So Trump's out there on Truth Social patting himself on the back, acting like he's the hero exposing the deep state. Give me a break. This is the same guy who partied with Epstein back in the day, even up till he was president in 2017. So This is the same administration that's been dragging its feet on real accountability throughout all facets of the government. So I am not too much of a patter on the Trump back. I'm not too much of a Trump congratulatory guy. But look, these releases aren't some benevolent gift from on high. They're the results of years of pressure from journalists, survivors, and activists who wouldn't let this die, and some congresspeople who pushed it into Congress for a vote. But let's be real. What do we see in these files? Names like Noam Chomsky, Steve Bannon, Larry Summers? Crossing party lines. Because corruption doesn't care if you're red or blue. It just cares if you're rich and connected. We're talking about a web of power that protects predators while the rest of us get screwed. And get this, the DOJ's under fire for withholding stuff earlier this year, with a judge now ordering expedited processing on requests for more records. Why the delay? Because these files shine a light on how the 1% operate. Blackmail. One nation under blackmail, like Whitney Webb wrote in her book. One nation under blackmail. One nation under blackmail, 1% operating with blackmail, influence peddling, and a justice system that's two-tiered. One for billionaires who get slaps on the wrist, and one for poor folks rotting in prisons for possession of marijuana. This Thanksgiving, guys, as you're arguing with Uncle Baga about election fraud and fake electors, hit him with this one. The real fraud is how Epstein's network exposed the rot at the core of our so-called democracy. Trump signs the bill, sure, but Democrats were pushing it too. Hell, the Epstein Files Transparency Act was H.R. 4405 in Congress, forcing the release within 30 days. But don't kid yourself. This isn't full transparency, and it's not over yet. They're redacting names now. They're burying leads. Because if the full truth came out, heads would roll. From Mar-a-Lago to the Hamptons. We're talking about flights on the Lolita Express, island parties where consent was optional, and a cover-up that implicates everyone from Bill Clinton to Alan Dershowitz, and Trump's crowing about it now. Please. He's using it to score some points against Democrats, calling it a witch hunt one moment, a distraction one moment. Now he's weaponizing it in the next. These are fun and games of the power politics. Persuasion. We know better, guys. Both sides are corrupt, complicit, protecting the elite. And the fact that I know that and you know that, I honestly think I'm grateful for that. Grateful? Yeah, I'm grateful. I'm grateful these files are trickling out thanks to relentless pressure. Grateful for the survivors like Virginia Giuffre, who faced down smear campaigns to demand justice. I'm grateful for you, who perpetuate the hope and change, fierce urgency of now. That is the resistance. But let's not stop here, guys. This is just the tip of the iceberg. We need full unredacted releases, independent investigations, and real reforms to dismantle the systems that let monsters like Epstein thrive. No more non-disclosure agreements for the powerful. No more private jets shuttling secrets. So, as you carve the bird today, remember, Thanksgiving is about reflection, not complacency, reflection. Reflect on the indigenous struggles, the working class grind, climate catastrophe looming. Reflect on how the Epstein saga proves the game's rigged, from rigged elections to rigged courts. Mostly reflect on your power to change it.
Free thinking, innovative, and totally open-minded. Tommy Nation Politics.
Like this podcast, hit the streets for Medicare for all, a Green New Deal, whatever you believe in. Student debt cancellation. Maybe we can put an end to it, guys. Maybe we can put an end to endless wars. We've got a long way to go, a long road ahead. But together, we're unstoppable. One nation, indivisible. Liberty and justice for all. Happy Thanksgiving, rebels. Stay angry. Stay informed. Stay vigilant. And stay in the fight.